If you are not legally protected in your business, you are leaving money on the table. Hey, I get it. The legal side of business can feel intimidating, but the good news is it doesn't have to be. If you want to build your business on a strong foundation, and if you want to know that your rights are protected when the unexpected happens with a client or a customer, then it's time to get legally protected. This means no more using free contracts that you downloaded off of the internet. This means partnering with a law firm that actually believes in your vision and can help you achieve it. This means legally protecting your brand so that no one can steal your good ideas. There are a lot of ways to grow and scale, but if you want to grow a strong business, it's time to get legally protected. If you're listening and resonating with this, then my signature service, the Legal Upgrade, just might be perfect for you. The Legal Upgrade is a straightforward, structured process to give your business the legal protection that it needs to thrive. Click the link in the show notes and schedule a call with me today. Hello and welcome to the Legal Upgrade Podcast. I'm your host, licensed attorney Christian Hammond. This podcast breaks down the legal side of business to reveal key legal strategies that can help you take your business to the next level. Please note that none of the following is legal, tax, investment, financial, or medical advice. Without further ado, let's get into the show. So, what is the legal upgrade? The legal upgrade is my solution to a problem that I have seen over the years that business owners tend to have. And here's the problem. The problem is that you start a business some time ago. Maybe you've been running the business for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And at this point, you've built a business that you like, that you value, that is good. And this business has transformed from your side hustle to your retirement plan. This is something you are trying to retire off of. Maybe it's because you are hoping to sell it for a lot of money. Maybe it's because you want to literally run the business until you retire, and maybe you want to pass it down to your kids or whoever comes after you. But one way or the other, this business is no longer your side hustle. It's no longer your side passion. This is your retirement plan. This is your long-term plan. This is your main hustle. And because of that, you are now looking around and realizing, oh, I need to legally protect this business. I need to legally protect this thing that I have built. But the problem is, what does that mean? What would that look like? Where would you start? And because you've been running this business again for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, maybe even longer, trying to wrap your arms around what legal protection means at this point feels very overwhelming because there's a lot of other things you're trying to do. You've got people working for you now. You're trying to keep the other parts of the business organized and running well. And so this idea of getting legally protected feels overwhelming. At the same time, it also feels a little intimidating because, if you've been running a business for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years longer, there might be some things hiding under the hood, right? That you're kind of a little afraid of opening Pandora's box and finding out, ooh, didn't do that quite right, or ooh, maybe that wasn't set up quite right, or oh, I've got exposure and liability here, right? So there's a little bit of intimidation when it comes to thinking about, am I really ready to open up Pandora's box and see what's in there? And so this is just an issue or a challenge that I notice business owners are dealing with. They want to get legally protected. They want to protect their business. They want to protect themselves, but they don't know where to start. And it just feels really overwhelming. And so maybe if you are in this position, and raise your hand if you can identify with this situation, but if you are here, maybe what you are about to do or maybe what you have already tried to do, is go about it in a piecemeal, disjointed kind of way. You've got one lawyer working on this and one lawyer working on that, and you've got some other company trying to do this, and the whole thing is just disjointed, and you're never really sure if you're done, and you're really never sure if this is something you needed or if this isn't something you needed. And so the whole process is very disjointed. Or maybe you haven't even jumped in yet because you're afraid of exactly that situation. So if this is something that you have experienced or that you are experiencing now as a business owner, or that you could see yourself experiencing down the line, I'm here to tell you that there is a better way. And that better way is something that I've developed. It's called the legal upgrade, and it's meant to address exactly this problem. And the idea behind the legal upgrade is to take the guesswork out of it. So right now you're in the position of trying to figure out what do you need and then going to try to find a lawyer to go fix it. So the legal upgrade takes the guesswork out. It takes you out of a position from having to figure it out. And instead, I come in and I address legal protection for your business in three key areas. And those three key areas are the relationship with your clients, making sure that if someone gets upset and that is pretty hard for them to come after you, or that you're protected if they do come after you. The relationship with your contractors, the relationship with the people who are working for you, the 1099s that you have brought into your team. And lastly, intellectual property, your ideas, your brand, your products, the things that make your business unique, the reason that people are buying from you in the first place. And so during a legal upgrade, I come in and I address those three key areas in your business: the relationship with your clients, the relationship with your contractors, and intellectual property. And the intention is to install, if you will, a baseline level of legal protection that is solid, that is strong, and that can give you some peace of mind so you can sleep at night knowing that you have put in a strong baseline of legal protection and that you are protected in the three key areas where so many of the actual legal issues with businesses, and especially small businesses, actually tend to spring up. And then it's not just about doing the work and getting that stuff done and making sure it's done, but it's also making sure that you and your team can implement these changes and that you have support. It's not just about coming in, doing the work and saying, "Hey, have a nice rest of your year," but making sure that you have support to implement those changes. And so I also meet with you and your team or your chief of staff or whoever makes sense for your company's context. I meet with them monthly to check in and see how things are going, to answer questions that your team might have about how to implement things. And honestly, it's often also to help with messaging, because if you're changing maybe how you've done things with your customers in order to add some more legal protection, if you're changing how you've been working with your contractors, if we need to make a shift, then you might need some help messaging that. You might need some help explaining the legal rationale behind it, and just getting people comfortable to realize that you're not trying to do anything crazy, but that you are making a shift in your business. Your business is maturing. You're reaching a turning point, and you're putting in some legal protections that make sense. And so that is what the process looks like during a legal upgrade. And and really what that looks like concretely, as far as like what are the concrete things, it's really about overhauling your legal back end. And what is the legal back end? Usually it's contracts. And what I've seen with a lot of business owners is that even 10 years into the business, they're still using contracts that either they pulled off the internet and DIY'd themselves, Maybe they borrowed it from a friend's business, a friend who had a similar type of business, and they kind of tried to adapt it to their own. Or they bought some cheap template, some $500 template, and then tried to customize it to their business. And the challenge is that once the business has reached a certain point, a certain level of maturity, and a certain level of exposure, those just are not the contracts that are going to hold up in court. Those just are not the contracts that are going to keep the business protected for the long haul. And those types of DIY template kind of piecemeal contracts tend to just lead to confusion, tends to lead to clients who aren't paying on time, tends to lead to misunderstandings between business partners, tends to lead to, this is a big one that I've seen, just scope of work creep, where you signed on to do a project for a client and all of a sudden the project is much bigger, but you're still getting paid the same amount of money. And that's not enough money to cover the scope of work that you are now doing. And so all of these problems are why the legal back end of a business oftentimes just needs a total rehaul to make sure that you as the business owner are protected and that your interests are protected. And then on the intellectual property side, concretely, what that looks like is getting trademarked, making sure that you legally own your business name. Because again, so many common misconceptions here. People think, oh, I have the LLC, I have the EIN, I have the domain name, I have a DBA, I have a fictitious business name. But none of those things legally protect a name. None of those things amount to legal ownership. This is a really common misconception, but also can just be very shocking to people, especially if you are someone who has spent a lot of money on your domain name. Having someone tell you, hey, you actually don't own this, you actually don't legally own the rights to this name, is very shocking. I recently was talking to someone who was in exactly this situation. They'd spent almost $10,000 for their domain name. And I was having to explain to them that, hey, you're exposed. You don't own the trademark. You are not the legal owner of this business name. And that means that it doesn't matter how much money you spent on your domain, you are still exposed. You still have a risk of someone else being able to have a superior claim to you. And so that's a huge thing that is just, and I'll say it again, that is often just a myth or misunderstood. It does, LLC names, DBAs, fictitious business names, URLs, domain names, EINs. These are all separate things that are important in their own right, but they're not trademarks. They're not legal ownership of a name. It's not something that's going to give you that legal protection in all 50 states to be able to say, hey, here's my federal registration number. I am the owner of this trademark. And so, getting back to what that looks like practically, it looks like getting that trademark registered at the federal level. And thank you so much for those of you who have joined. Again, if you have any questions as I'm going through things, feel free to pop those right in the comments. And so that is the legal upgrade. Again, it's me coming in, taking the guesswork out of legal protection for your business, targeting those 3 key areas, making sure you're protected as you're doing work for your clients or customers, protected as you're working with contractors, and protected as you're putting your ideas out into the world, as you're putting your brand out into the world, making sure those ideas and the brand and those original things are being protected through protecting intellectual property. And a lot of times people will come to me after they have already had a negative experience with another law firm. And if that's you, if you've had a negative experience with another law firm, I would ask if in that previous experience, if you considered fit before hiring that attorney. Did you consider, is this the right attorney for my law firm? Is this a good personality fit? Is this, can we communicate effectively? Do we have communication styles that line up? Because not every attorney is for everybody. I am not everybody's cup of tea. I am very open about saying that, and I'm very okay with that. But what I am confident about is that there is a lawyer out there for you somewhere. But I think that fit is incredibly important. And I think it's something that business owners overlook when they are looking to partner with an attorney. And, you think about fit when you hire people for your business. You think about fit even when you're looking for a hairstylist or, so many other things in life. But I think that for whatever reason, when people go to hire a lawyer, they focus on their credentials, which for sure is important. And they focus on maybe these other kind of professional things, which absolutely are important, but they don't think about fit. And I think that's such a mistake because when it really comes down to it, either you, the CEO, or your chief of staff, or somebody at your company is going to be spending a lot of time with this lawyer. And so I think it's really underappreciated how important fit is, because at the end of the day, you or someone on your team, you're going to be spending a lot of time with this person, especially if the scope of work is larger. And so I just think that fit is such an important thing to take into consideration. And so if you've had a negative experience working with a lawyer or a law firm before, I would submit to you or challenge you with the thought, did you consider fit? Did you take that into your calculation? And so the last thing I want to cover is just, who is this for? Who is the legal upgrade for? How would is this the right fit for your company? And it tends to work best for certain types of companies. And that would be companies that I would say are typically somewhere between or somewhere above 5 years. Companies that have been in business for longer than 5 years, they've had time to really think about how they like to work, how their business works, how they work best. So it tends to be companies that are at least over that 5-year mark. It also tends to be business owners who are at some kind of a turning point. Maybe you are looking to hire and bring on a team for the first time. Maybe you are looking to rebrand. Maybe you're looking to launch a new product or service. Maybe you're looking to expand into a new market. It tends to be companies that are at a point where they are ready to move to that next level. They're ready to take their business to that next level, and they know that to go to that next level effectively, they need to get some legal protection in place. It also tends to be, this is the legal upgrades for companies that like their brand. They have a name that they like, and they know that this is the brand name that is going to go the distance with them. So if your company is in a place where you're still workshopping your name, or this is still kind of the stand-in name before you are really going to be aggressive about marketing under maybe a future name that you're hoping to identify, then it might be a little too early for you for the legal upgrade. Maybe wait until you have a name, or at least a potential name that you know you really love. And so those are some of just the parameters of who the legal upgrade is for. And the last thing is, I'm not going to hide the ball on it. The legal upgrade, your company should be budgeted and ready to spend around $12,000 for the legal upgrade. So not going to hide the ball on that. I believe in being open about pricing. And so the legal upgrade is a large project, and your company would need to be budgeted and ready to spend around $12,000 to make that legal upgrade happen. And so those are some of the parameters for how you can think about, is this for me? Is it too early? Is this the right time for my company? And so that is all that I have for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any other questions about the legal upgrade, again, you can feel free to pop those in the comments. And if what I've said today is really speaking to your situation, if you've been thinking about getting legally protected in your business, if you've been kind of overwhelmed by the idea of what that might mean and dreading a piecemeal, disjointed approach, and you've been looking for a way to really address it holistically, to really put in that baseline level of legal protection and to really know that, hey, I did a thing. I put in legal protection in key areas, and I know that I've got a really solid jumping off point. If that's been something you've been wanting and looking for because you are looking to go to that next level in your business and you are looking to really build a business that, again, you can retire off of, that you can either sell for a really good price or that you can work until you're ready to pass it down to someone. If that's something you've been wanting and looking for, then I invite you to take the next step to find out if Bevel Law is the right law firm for you. You can go to the link in my bio. You can schedule a discovery call that will allow you to book a call with me one-on-one, and we can talk more and find out if this is the right fit for you and your business. So again, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. The Legal Upgrade Podcast is a Bevel Law production. For more information about the Legal Upgrade, you can follow on Instagram at Bevel Law or find even more information on the website bevellaw.com. If you enjoyed the episode, please remember to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. See you next time on the Legal Upgrade Podcast.